All right, guys, we're about to get this call started. Type a number one in the chat if you guys can hear me clearly. I want to make sure my mic is coming through. Okay, perfect. So, before we get this call started, you can, if you're in a position to turn your cameras on, go ahead and turn them on because this is going to be an interactive call. We want to see your lovely faces, and you could type in the chat where you're tuning in from. I'm currently in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So I know there's people from New York as I see, Manhattan, NYC. Where are you guys tuning in from? San Diego, beautiful. I love San Diego. And Reno, Nevada is in the house. So before we actually get started, you want to make sure you're in a quiet area without any distractions and have a pen and pad ready to take notes. Remember, note takers are money makers. You remember 40% of the times more what you write down, especially if you write it down in blue ink. So also, if you have any friends that you are going to invite on here, they just may be having some trouble logging on, send them a quick reminder text, maybe shoot them over the Zoom link as we get this started. I know some people messaged me saying they were having trouble logging in, but we're about to go over some powerful information. And as I always say, information can change your situation, but only through implementation. So before I get started, I'm going to introduce myself. And before I introduce my business colleagues here, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my story and how we got to this call. Fort Worth, what's going on, Frank from Fort Worth? So, my name is Angel Carmona, and I'm just a regular guy with extraordinary dreams. Proud of me becoming an entrepreneur, speaker, and author of Boxer to Businessman, right? How the discipline of being an athlete can help you achieve success as an entrepreneur. I used to be a professional boxer. And due to the fact that I grew up in a rough neighborhood in Miami, Florida, I was caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that led to me getting shot, which actually ended my boxing career. So, in the world that I knew nothing but boxing, I prayed to God for an answer, another vehicle to drive me to my dreams. Because my dream was never to become a pro boxer, but to become financially free, travel the world, start my own charity, and provide for my family. So, when one vehicle broke down, I was actually introduced to the business world by the same person who introduced me to boxing when I was 10 years of age. And I ended up going to an event and I met a gentleman who became my first mentor. And this gentleman helped me. At the time, he was a multimillionaire in the business space. And he became my mentor. And after 12 months of coaching and mentoring me, I got to a position where I started generating multiple five figures a month. And that completely transformed my life. So I ended up building after like 7 years a seven-figure business, and people always wanted to know, Angel, how did you go from being a guy from living in the hood from the streets to now running this business? You have a very powerful story. You should write a book. And I was like, yeah, someday I'll do it. It's like, and people kept telling me this for years. Angel, your story's so powerful. You have such a powerful testimonial. And I was like, yeah, one day I'll write a book. And it wasn't up until June, like May of 2021, in the midst of the pandemic, maybe April or May, I don't remember. One of my mentors, I was catching up with him, and he told me, Angel, once again, your story's so powerful. When are you going to write a book? People will be impacted by your story. And I told him, yeah, one day I'll do it. And he told me, no, you're going to do it this year, and I'm going to hold you accountable to it. And I was taken aback because no one ever told me they were going to hold me accountable to writing my book. And right then and there, I was like, yes, sir, tell me what I have to do. And that this is my first question to you. If you're taking notes, write this down. What has the lack of accountability cost me in my life? Ask yourself, what has the lack of accountability cost you in your life? In my case, it's my autobiography, but maybe you have an idea. Maybe it's a nonfiction book. Maybe it's a fiction book. But because no one has held you accountable, it's an idea that could potentially change the world. You've never taken action upon it. Just think about that. So this one conversation over the phone actually changed my life. So uh, back to the story. I was like, well, listen, I don't know how to write. I know how to speak, but I'm not an author. I don't know where to start. He said, don't worry. We can hire a ghostwriter to write your book for you. They can interview you, and then you can write the book. And then they'll write the book for you. And I was like, cool. That sounds perfect. He was like, I'll contact the contacts that I have to get in contact with this uh, ghostwriter. He said, in the meantime, write down your ideas on paper and write that, try to write the first chapter. Just try. And I was like, sure. So the first day I sat down and I wrote the title. I came up with the title because initially I wanted the title of the book to be Boxer to Billionaire, right? But the money's not there. They're still counting the money in the bank. And I ended up having the idea of Boxer to Businessman. So I wrote down the name. I wrote down the name of the chapters and what ideas I'll have in each chapter. And then I started to write the chapter, the introduction, the thank yous, and I contacted my mentor the next day and I said, "Hey, did you get in contact with the lady?" He said, "No, I reached out to her and I left a voicemail and I sent an email. But go ahead and try writing." I told him, "What about you? What have you done?" I said, "I wrote down the first chapter already." He said, "Okay, good. Now try writing the second chapter while I get in contact with this lady." And then I went ahead and I wrote the second chapter. So the next day, this is the third day now, I called my mentor and I was like, "Hey, have you heard back from this ghostwriter?" He said, "No, I sent her another email, sent another voice note, but just try to go ahead and write the third chapter." So now the third day, I wrote the third chapter and it just hit me. I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can write this book, but I don't need a ghostwriter. And lo and behold, I don't know if he was lying to me or not, but we never got in contact with the ghostwriter. And I just took off and I told my wife, we had a newborn daughter, and I told her, just don't distract me. Let me just focus and write this book. And for 8 to 9 hours a day, I was just ordering DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever. And I was just sitting on my laptop writing for 8 to 9 hours a day. And I wrote my book in 12 days without any distractions. And once I wrote the book, I was like, okay, now what's the next step? And I didn't know where to go from there, but my mentor told me, okay, we're going to see if we can contact some some publishing companies to see what we can do. So he said, I'll go do my research on my end and reach out to my contacts and resources, and you do the same. So first place I went was to Google. And then I started, I think I even went on YouTube or TikTok, like how to self-publish a book. And when I went on Google, I just saw this headline that said Gatekeeper Press, become a self-published author. And I was like, okay, so I clicked on them and I saw they did a free consultation. So I was like, okay. So I booked it for the soonest day possible, which was like the next day. And I don't like to procrastinate, as you can see. I when I see something, I just execute. So I set up a call and I ended up getting on the phone with Tony the next day. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that conversation towards the end of it. But thank you, LJ. He just dropped in the chat if you want to book a free consultation with him, have any questions. So, first of all, I want to know, type a one in the chat if you wrote your book already, you have your manuscript, you just need to publish it, or number two, you just have an idea. Type a one or two. Number one, if you already wrote your book, or number two, if you just have the idea of the book and the story you want to say. Okay, so one, two, okay. One, perfect. So in my case, it was an idea, and one day to the next, it was an idea, and next thing you know, it was in production. It happened that fast. After I got off the call with Tony, he gave me a sweet deal that I couldn't refuse, and I executed on the spot, and I made the payment, and they assigned me an author manager. So this lady was to help me the entire process, from formatting my book to coming up with the ideal cover to the lettering to the color scheme to the feel of the pages to what colors I wanted the pages to be to how I wanted the chapters of the book to look like, and what, like, they helped me every step of the way. So write this down. Everything happens three times in your mind. Oh, sorry. Everything happens three times in this world. First in your mind, second on paper, third in reality. First in your mind, second on paper, third in reality. After that call and after I made my payment, I literally went from my book just being an idea, just a conversation, to me having my book in my hands within like 90 days. Now, I'm not saying, disclaimer, it's not going to happen for you in 90 days. Maybe you're pickier, maybe your book is longer, or, whatever the case may be. But I'm just showing you how fast it can happen. For years, I wanted to write this book. I just didn't know where to start and who to trust to make sure my book is published everywhere. But thank God for Gatekeeper Press and their amazing staff. So now, what this workshop is about, I'm going to actually give you 5 steps on exactly how to publish your book. So if you're taking notes, here's the first step. Number 1, make a decision. Make a decision to invest time and money into yourself. Indecision is the thief of opportunity. Once again, you all have these ideas, these books that could potentially change the world or change your niche market or your community. But until you make a decision, then it'll never start to turn into fruition. So your brain is set up to stop you from doing things that are fearful. So once you make a decision, it is important that you take immediate imperfect action. Write this down. Take immediate imperfect action. Because your brain will try to talk you out. No, your book's not ready. No, the world, what about your spelling? Don't worry about any of that. The first step would be to set up a free consultation. So you know what your budget is. So you know what your process is. So you know if you want a hardcover or a paperback or just ebook, right? These are things that you need to consult with Gatekeeper Press, right? So the first thing is, once again, make a decision. Like, okay, I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to take action, immediate imperfect action, and we're going to figure it out along the way. Martin Luther King once said, you don't need to see the whole flight of stairs. You just need to take the first step. And every time you take a step, you're going to see more and more steps. Okay? So that's the first thing. Secondly, write your manuscript. Write your book. Now, don't worry about misspelling or anything like that, formatting the chapters or proper grammar, because Gatekeeper Press actually has an editing service, so they can correct your spelling or grammatical errors. So that's something maybe you were unaware. Maybe that was the one thing that was stopping you. But you don't know what you don't know. Now, it's all about writing a bestseller, not a best speller. Okay? So even my book still has some grammatical errors to some people. They say, oh, this shouldn't have been said, but hey, it's all perspective. Like I said, you want a bestseller, not a best speller. Okay, so start writing. Just let your ideas flow. You're going to always go back and revise things. You're going to have ample amount of time with your author manager that's assigned to you to make sure you want certain things edited. And of course, you can have a few of your closest friends that you trust their judgment to pre-read your book to verify, how the story lineup is going, and just don't let that one thing stop you. The third thing, once again, like I said, contact Gatekeeper Press. Communication is key. Let them know where you're at in your journey. Let them know what your budget is, what you're looking for, where would you like your book to be published. I did not know that my book will reach different parts of the world. I had one guy who's like from Africa who is a professional basketball player. And he was playing for Japan for the National Basketball League of Japan or something. He wrote me on Instagram. He found my book on Amazon because he's an athlete. He was looking for uh, athlete books and inspiration. He found my book and he read it and it impacted him. And he wrote me on Instagram. Thankfully, Gatekeeper Press, they published my book on Amazon and on every possible outlet that sells online books and ebooks and all of that. So there's people from Europe, from Africa, from Asia that have bought my book because obviously people speak English all over the world. And I'm currently in the process of translating my book to Spanish because I've grown over the last couple of years. I've grown a larger community in the Hispanic community and Latinos that speak Spanish. So now I'm in the process of translating my book to Spanish, and I'm once again going to be publishing it with Gatekeeper Press because I just love the entire beginning to end process, how everything worked out so smoothly. They were very patient with me, and I'm kind of a perfectionist. So I kept saying, no, my face is off. Make sure you do Photoshop. I have a pimple right here. So they helped me with all that and they were super patient. So the next step, right? Once you get your book, once you start the deal, I want you to start promoting. Promote before the book is even done. Here's what I did to help cover the cost of um of the actual service that I particularly got for the ebook, hardcover, and paperback. I put it on a credit card. Then I started doing a pre-sale. So I told everybody on my social media platforms, hey, if you want an autographed copy of my first book, I'm going to do it for this price. And I'm going to only do the first 100 people. So that gave me like 75% of what it cost me to publish my book with Gatekeeper Press. I sold it for X amount. I pre-sold it. I says I'm going to personalize it to you, ship it to you, and I'm going to sign it with your name, a special message specifically for you. So I had 100 people pay X amount of dollars that covered 75% before the book was even out. So I paid back my credit card. It's about ingenuity. It's about being creative, right? So I started to do pre-sales, and then I told the people also, whoever bought the pre-sale, I'll send them a snippet of the first chapter. So I made sure that my first chapter was a cliffhanger. I made sure that it was a page turner. People wanted, now they were eager to get the book. And I told them, tag me on social media and I'll reshare you. So guess what? Now they were resharing me to their audience. While the book is in production, I was collecting the money to pay for the book. So even if you have $0 right there, you can go ahead, start promoting. Hey, I did a strategic, right? I told people, hey, if I were to write a book about my life, how many of you would buy it? and then I put a poll, me or some people not interested or definitely, where can I buy it right now? So I made a poll and I kept planting seeds. Okay, what do you think the name was? I included them in the process. I asked them, what do you think the name of the book should be? Should it be like from poverty to the penthouse, from boxer to businessman? I gave them options, right? Even though I already knew what the name of my book was, but I'm getting traction. I'm getting people enrolled in the process. Okay, so I did all of this, and that helped me promote the book. Once it finally came out, I recorded myself. Oh, I just got the box. They send me a sample to make sure that I liked it. And I believe also with the deal that I got, the service that I got, the package I got, it came with some author copies as well. I think it was like a dozen author copies. And if you stick around to the end of this call, which is only like another 20, 30 more minutes, we're gonna give you a discount code in the chat. So just stick around to the end. So where was I? So that was step number 4. And then step number 5, type a number 5 in the chat if you guys are still with me. Type a 5 in the chat. Perfect. So step number 5 is what I've done and what I'm currently doing right now. Repackage and repurpose. Repackage and repurpose. Once my book was done, I noticed that a lot of people, I kept asking them, hey, did you read the book? And they were like, well, I haven't had time. I haven't had time. I was like, okay, most people drive to work, right? They work 9 to 5. I was like, you know what? I need to make this book in audio format. So guess what? I contacted Gatekeeper Press and my author manager. I say, hey, do you know by any chance, do you guys do audio books? They're like, no, but let me refer you to a company that we work with that's reputable and credible. They passed on that resource to me. I called them up. I did a contract with them and did a service. And guess what? Now my book is on Audible, on Amazon, and anywhere that sells audiobooks. And guess what? I enrolled my audience once again in the process. I was like, hey, how many of you think that I should do an audiobook version of my book? The same people that bought the physical copy, now they were purchasing the audiobook. And I asked them, do you want me to do it? Do you want me to hire someone else? I had them vote. And 99% of people say, no, you need to read your own book. You need to read your own story. So then what? Guess what? I went to the studio and I think over 3 days, I recorded myself. And then now my book is in audio format. So I have ebook, paperback, hardcover, audiobook, and now I'm translating it so that I can once again repackage and repurpose the book into the Spanish community. So that is exactly the 5 steps that I took in order to be a self-published author. Now, I'm going to introduce Tony, who is the first person that I spoke to. He is the CEO and co-founder. Yes, your book can be your biggest asset. Listen, we all have a story. Why not tell it? We all have a story. And once again, it may not be an autobiography. Maybe it's just a fiction or a nonfiction book, whatever the case may be. Just start somewhere. It has helped me so much. At the time when I wrote my book, I ran a 7-figure business, 7-figure annual business, and today now I run an 8-figure business. And I attest me being an author as part of that, because people look at me like, wow, you're an author. Wow, you're on Amazon. Like, people just want to do business with credible people. So that's that. Now, once again, when I did the consultation call with Tony, it was very quick. He answered every question I asked, but one question that I asked him, I said, Tony, what's the one question I need to be asking that I'm not asking yet? And he said to me, you need to be asking, do you keep all of your royalties? And the answer is yes. That was the most important key questions. Most other publishing, even my audio publishing company. They keep a percentage of my royalties. But with Gatekeeper Press, once you pay for the service, you get 100% of your royalties, which is one thing that I love because those checks come in, those direct deposit into my bank accounts when I least expect it. And that lets me know, that they're honest and they're doing their part. So you can do your part, they're going to do all the hard part. So I want to bring up to the call uh, the CEO and co-founder of Gatekeeper Press. And if you guys have any questions, whether it's for him or for me, go ahead and type it in the chat. This is opportunity about anything that we went over or any questions that you may have. And if we can have LJ as well, post in the chat, who is the social media marketing manager. We can have them post the discount codes in the chat so you guys can get a special 20% off. So type a number 7 in the chat and help me bring up Mr. Tony Cellini to the call.
Well, thanks, Angel, for having me. I appreciate it. Awesome advice you're giving everyone, and definitely was a privilege to help you get your book published. Glad we were able to do that. I'm available for any questions. He hit so many different points on, finding a publisher that you can trust. This industry is so predatory and scammy, so it's tough for authors to kind of sift through it and find legitimate publishers that have their best interest at heart, and that's what we do at Gatekeeper Press. So I'm here to take questions, and I think LJ shared the consultation link up above earlier in the chat too. So if you want a full session with me, I take all those consultations. That links right to my calendar, so I'm happy to help as well there. But fire away with some questions.
So I see Frank here ask the question, did I get an agent and go the traditional route? I mean, as far as I'm aware, remember, I wasn't like an author, like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be an author. No, this is just my story, and I wanted to write it down, and I wanted to publish it out there. There's two types of way. Back in the day, as far as I'm concerned, you went to a publishing company and you had to pitch them, and they had to see if it was a good idea to take on your book. Well, this is called self-publishing or a hybrid model. As long as I paid for the service, they were going to do the job. And that's what I like. I didn't have to go through a middleman and try to pitch my idea. I knew I had a powerful testimonial, and that's what I like. So the world is changing. If you don't adapt, you're going to be left behind. Simple as that. This is the way to go. When you get an agent, you have to once again split your profits with them. And what do we want? We all want a bestseller. Why not cut out the middleman and go directly to Gatekeeper Press? You have them right here. I mean, I'm a businessman. It just makes financial sense. You're welcome. You're welcome. And Tony, if you want to, while they're asking
Yeah,
questions in the chat, if you want to go ahead and explain,
yeah.
more about what the package that I got brought, like how you listed it everywhere and everything, like.
Yeah, sure. So, and it's a really good question on the traditional publishing too, because just as you mentioned, with traditional publishers, you got to pitch yourself to an agent. They pick and choose who gets accepted. A very small percentage even gets through the door. But at the end of the day, you lose control over what your book looks like. You lose the ownership rights to it, and they take most, if not all, of your royalties. So, what we do at Gatekeeper Press, we're really a hybrid publisher, but we predicate our whole business, hence the name Gatekeeper Press, and opening the gates to allow anyone to get published that wants to get published. Obviously, we have an exception for hate speech or discriminatory speech, but otherwise, we publish all books, and our whole process is predicated on exceptional quality of the process we put our authors through, the product that we deliver for them, and then also the business model that they keep as authors. So, as Angel was talking about, all of our authors through that process work with an author manager. They get individualized attention. Every author's project is different. Having that person guide you through, especially as a new author, is going to be invaluable. Additionally, all of our authors work directly with our editors, designers, our formatters to make sure that we deliver on that quality of product, which is giving you your dream book from a design and layout standpoint. Publishing is an investment up front. You should be able to walk away with a product that you love and are proud of. And that's what we guarantee with the quality of our product and our author bill of rights. And then the questions, as Angel said, when we talked, what questions should you be asking? Every author should be asking their potential publisher, do I keep all my royalties? Do I keep all my ownership rights? And is my book going to be listed for sale worldwide? And the answer is yes to all those things with us, but it's not yes with a lot of other publishers. As far as the distribution network, as Angel was saying, we get our books listed as both print on demand versions and ebook versions worldwide. So anyone with an internet connection anywhere in the world can hop online, click a button, buy the book, paperback, hardcover, or ebook. It's print on demand for the print version, so it's unlimited sales potential. So those are the big things: ownership rights, royalties, worldwide distribution, one-on-one attention, and author control over what the book looks like, with a guarantee that you're going to get a book you love. So those are the things to focus on and what we do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tony. Guys, don't hold back. This is a safe space. If you have any questions, type it in the chat. Another thing that was pretty cool, they gave me my, it's like an ID number for the what is it? What's the professional?
ISBN. Yeah.
My ISBN ID, but I mean the Congress of Author, the Library Congress of Library of
Yeah.
Authors. Is that
Yeah. Library of Congress registration. Yeah.
right? So they did all of that for me. I didn't even know, and I got this beautiful certificate in the mail. I thought it was in my office, but we're in the process of moving right now, so my wife must have taken it out. But they did all of that for me, and they even gave me 100 like codes for people that have iBooks on their iPhone. I got 100 codes for ebooks that they can download for free. So you could do like contests, you could do raffles. The people that actually bought the first 100 copies, I made it a little bit higher than the average cost on Amazon because it was going to be personalized and I had to ship it and take time signing it. So I made it higher. These are the people that believe in you, right? These are the people that are your followers, people that love you the most, people that support you. So I made it almost double the price, and that's how I was able to pay for the book itself, the service itself. And I gave them, once again, not just the autographed copy, but I also gave them an ebook copy because I gave them that code as a part of them buying the book as one of the first 100 people. So it was super special for everyone that bought the first 100 copies and believed in me and helped me get my book out there. Now, everywhere I go, every time I do a business event, I go out networking, I grab a handful of my books and I take them with me, and people see me and people buy them from me on the spot. And of course, you're going to get your own little dashboard and back office where you can order your author copies at a discounted rate so that you can sell them and make profits in the future. You can see all your residuals, your royalties in the back office. You can add your bank account information on there for the direct deposit, and it's a pretty cool back office. You'll get used to it. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, you just have to start. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. I'll never forget that quote my mentor told me. And if you don't have anyone to hold you accountable in your life, I'm going to hold you accountable. Book the call. Just book the call. Take a screenshot of the discount code right there. BXR to biz, Boxer to biz, right? So that you can get your 20% off and just take action. I hope you guys took notes on those 5 steps. Now, once again, if we don't have any other questions, you guys, answered everything, then we can end the call, but we'll stay on for the next couple of minutes to see if any of you guys have any questions. I know we answered a lot of the questions. If you would rather just unmute yourself, you can do that as well. Just raise your hand and we'll have AJ unmute you. They also have social media marketing services. So if you feel like you're a person that doesn't have a lot of followers on social media, you could also look into their service for social media marketing, and you guys can do collaborations, and before you know it, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the line, you can be doing one of these workshops telling you
Hmm.
how, hey, I showed up on one of their call. There was a crazy guy from Miami named Angel Carmona on the call saying all these quotes. And now I'm here. I booked a call and I'm so grateful that I did. And I got outside of my comfort zone. Write this down, ladies and gentlemen. Everything you want in your life is right outside your comfort zone. What's the best advice on getting started on brainstorming? Just start writing. Just grab a pen and pad and take 20 minutes a day and just empty your brain out. So how I did mine, and I have like a TikTok on this somewhere on my TikTok. I did how I wrote my book in 12 days. If you look up Angel Carmona, how I wrote my book in 12 days. Uh, I basically like identified the chapter, the name of the chapter, what stories I wanted to put in each chapter, and how I wanted to end the book. My mentor once told me that all best-selling authors write the last chapter of the story first, and then they write the entire book to fit into the last chapter. So that's one thing that I did. So it's your life story, right? We can't, it's almost impossible to give every detail in someone's autobiography, but just give enough up until this point. Give enough up until this point, uh, you know, before, during, after. Most people want to know how you overcame a particular problem. You want to make sure you're adding value to people by solving an issue. So, for example, people wanted to know how I went from being in poverty to being building a seven-figure business, right? So that's how I put in there how I started reading books, working on personal growth and development. I found mentors. I changed my environment and my associations. And that's the problem that I solved. And that's why people buy my book because they want to know how I did it. Now people see me on social media, how I'm traveling the world, impacting, empowering, and educating people to do the same, to transform their lives. So you need to identify what's your problem that you're going to talk about in your book. Uh, you could just brainstorm. The best thing, once again, write any idea that you have down. You want to empty your brain out on paper, empty out your ideas so that it makes room for more ideas. And then if you have a confidant, someone that you trust and you value their opinion and judgment, ask them, hey, what do you think about this name or this name? What do you think about using this as the cover, this as the cover? And just start dividing what ideas, what each chapter is going to be about, how you're going to end it, how you're going to start it and end it. Okay. And like I said, just start writing. That's the best advice I can give you. A best-selling author I
Thank you,
went to
man.
school with told me that I wanted to be a writer. Told me that if I wanted to be a writer, I needed to write. Get started. Exactly. There you go, Frank. Were you going to say something, Tony?
No, no, this is all great. You have such great advice for people, and you could write a book on how to write a book.
I have to write a book. Hey, that'll be my third book because I'm
That's the
already
short
working on my
guide.
second. How to write a book. Thank you, thank you. So, LJ, do you before we end the call, do you want to talk a little bit about the social media services that you guys just launched, or?
Well, yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is LJ. I'm the marketing director at Gatekeeper Press. I work with influencers all around the world to help bring our services to inspiring authors. And Angel, thank you so much for hosting this session. A lot of our authors, believe once they become published, that's just it. That's just getting started, right? So we are offering our authors marketing services to reach readers online, and that's through social media. So we come up with we have marketing services where we come up with assets that we provide our authors who aren't tech savvy, who don't have the designing skills to come up with marketing assets to advertise their book online. So that's what we do. And we also have a couple of bestsellers campaigns that kind of take the stress away from all of our authors. Like I said, we're very hands-on with all of our services. So your author manager takes care of everything. You just pretty much purchase the service and then we take it from there. But thanks, Angel, for hosting this session. In the comments, I did include the link to a free self-publishing guide complimentary from us. Feel free to dive in and get started. There's awesome tips and tools on how to become a published author. Also, there's a link if you want to learn more about Gatekeeper Press. Please click and book your consultation with Tony. Also, of course, thanks to Angel, you'll be able to save 20% on all of our publishing services. And we're going to extend that offer till the end of the month. But if you just reach out and book the consultation, I'm sure that we can extend it if need be. But just give us a call.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, LJ.
Well, guys, there you have it. If we have no more questions, just start taking action. Don't let this opportunity pass you by because opportunities are never missed. They're always taken by people who take action. So, listen, 20%, depending what package you get, that could be a substantial amount of money. You can put that money towards your marketing practices, your marketing strategy. Just take advantage of it. And once again, you guys feel free to follow me on social media if you don't follow me already, and you can see like someone just wrote me yesterday like, wow, I just read your book and it changed my life, it impacted me. So go ahead, and I hope that I said something today to just push at least one of you to go ahead and make that commitment with yourself and take action. If it was your dream to be an author, then I hope so. And there's also like an affiliate marketing a program attached to this. So if you have other authors that you can refer people to Gatekeeper Press, they'll also give you a bonus, an affiliate bonus as well. So it's an all around win-win situation for everyone. Okay. So you're adding value to them, you're gonna get paid, and you're helping Gatekeeper, and Gatekeeper is gonna make sure they're a happy customer. So once again, if you want to read my book, it's on Amazon on all platforms, thanks to Gatekeeper Press, and it's also on Audible if you want to listen to it. So, with that being said, you're welcome. You're welcome. There's the link once again. LJ, thank you so much for setting all this up. Guys, I'm not the most tech person, the most techy person, but thank God I have these partners with me to help me out. So, you guys have a blessed rest of your day, a productive rest of the week. And listen, it's always too soon to quit, but it's never too late to start. You can make a decision right now, and your book could be in your hands in 2025 that fast. So, you guys have a blessed one, and I'll see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded. Peace.